All right. Sorry it's so dark in here. I'm still working on this lighting shit. It's a pain in the ass. But we'll work it out. At some point, I'll figure it out. Maybe when I have more quiet time, it'll be easier. All right. So I have some more energy decided. I'm going to try to get through the air signs today and probably finish the rest tomorrow. For those of you that have never watched one of my readings, I focus on healing the relationship or the energies within yourself or the situation. I don't really focus on all the extra little shit. I'll talk to you about what's going on and focus on how to fix it. If that's not for you, you don't want to watch me. Energy is interchangeable. You take it how it resonates with you. And if it doesn't resonate, don't force it. Okay. A lot of this shit is usually not good. So you don't want to make it your problem if it's not your problem. All right. And if anything else comes up, I'll talk in between and we'll see what happens. Now, for those of you that are dealing with the Libra, now this could be you or the other person, however this energy is resonating for you. One of you is holding on to resentments, and that's not benefiting your life right now. Whoever's holding on to these resentments, understand that it's holding you back and it's keeping you from whatever it is that you're trying to achieve and establish within the relationship, within the connection, or maybe with another person. Whatever it is, whoever you're holding the resentments against, you have to work on that and heal those things, because as long as you're holding on to it, you're causing resistance, okay? Because you're stuck with this negative emotion inside of you. And while you're stuck, the other person is not worried about whatever happened or if they hate you, whatever. They're not concerned. You're the only person that's holding on to this, and you have to find a way to release this so that you can move forward. Now, in saying this, depending on your situation, if you're still with this person and it's been an ongoing thing, you have a long-term relationship, it's harder to release these resentments because you're constantly looking at them while you're trying to heal. And maybe they're still triggering you and you're just like, leave me the fuck alone so that I can work on my shit. So depending on what it is, sometimes you need the separation, you need the distance, you need the space for you to focus on you and deal with it, because it's hard to heal in the space that broke you, the place that's toxic for you. Those things, it's hard. Because you're trying to heal and do better, but that person's going to be right there and they're not changing. They're not working on their shit. So you have to decide what you're going to do. If you're strong enough to be in a toxic environment and heal, then cool. If you're not, then you have to remove yourself from the situation so that you can heal your shit and move forward with your life. Because when you hold on to resentment, you're just making your own life miserable. You're making yourself just be like, oh, I fucking hate this person. And for what? For something they did? Get over it. It happened, it's done, and it's never going to happen again. And if it does, then you decide if you're going to keep dealing with it or if you're not going to keep dealing with it. But there's no need to resent people because we all fuck up. None of us are perfect. And you would want to be forgiven if you fucked up, as I'm sure they want to be forgiven. Not everybody knows how to apologize or ask for forgiveness because it's something that's foreign to them. So this is where the communication comes in and explaining what's really happening between the two of you. That's how this is going to work out for you. But again, some of you do have a change in environment that's coming up. So make sure that you're being smart with your spending. You're saving money for the deposit, the rent, whatever the hell they're asking for. Make sure you're only spending what you absolutely need to spend. Okay, so if you don't need it, like well, right now nobody can really do shit. We're all fucking locked down. So don't be on Amazon buying every fucking thing because you're bored to death. Okay, don't do that. But there is a change in environment coming for you. So whoever is moving, just be smart about what you're doing and make sure you can afford it. All right. Now, you find yourself resenting people and being angry with people because you overextend yourself. You give and you give and you give. And, that's kind of Libra trait. We're just giving people. So you have to set boundaries. You have to learn how to protect your energy. You have to learn how to say no when you're tired or when it's not beneficial, or you're just like, you know what, I got so much going on and I'm juggling all these things. You have to learn when to say no. You can't please everybody. So if you have to choose a person to please, choose yourself, okay? Because you'll never lose. Always choose you. So make sure that you're making the decisions for you. You can't people please, because when you start people pleasing, that's when you start losing your energy. That's when people start taking advantage of you. You lose control over your life, or you give it up to somebody else so that they can control your life. No, you have to control your life. You have to remember that it's your right to choose whether or not you want to stay with this person or you don't want to stay with them. All of this is your decision, and you have to do that, okay? You have to take a leap of faith, okay? And I know it's scary, because believe me, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know how this is going to go. But you have to believe in yourself enough to know that whatever happens, you're going to find your way out of it. You're going to be like, okay, you know what? I'm scared, but I can do this. I got this. Worst thing, I mean, you have to really think, like, what's the worst thing that could fucking happen? And then if the worst thing doesn't happen, then you're like, all right, cool, I survived this. So don't focus on the bad things. Just say, you know what, when I take this, it's going to be a new journey. It's going to be a new adventure. Whatever it is to hype yourself up, you start reprogramming your thinking. So you won't have the bad thoughts. It'll be more of a, yes, I'm ready for this challenge. I'm ready for this change. I'm excited to do something different. Start looking at it like that instead of like, no, I'm a fucking scared. How the fuck am I going to do this? And thinking of 1,000,001 ways this is going to be fucked up. Don't do that to yourself. So start focusing on the good, okay? Because when you take action, it's going to lead to transformation. Now, when you're transforming and you're going through this, because like I said, it takes courage. So when I tell people you need to leave a situation, or you have to do this, or you have to do that, I could say it all day long until I'm blue in the face. Ultimately, you have to find the courage within to make that change. I can't force you. Nobody else can force you. You have to be ready. So whatever this relationship is, if it's toxic, unhealthy, whatever it is for you, you have to choose to be courageous enough to walk away and close that door and work on you, okay? Because when you start transforming and you start doing this, you start seeing through all the bullshit. And sometimes having yourself removed, like taking a step back, you're able to see the bigger picture. You're able to see the bullshit that people are feeding you. You're able to see people that are using you. You're able to see all of this. So make sure that you're paying attention to this, okay? Because transformation is going to take place, whether it's within you or the other individual you're dealing with. It is happening. And as that happens, you start shifting and you become more aware. And you become aware of your energy and who you want to give it to and how you want to spend it. Don't let anyone else control that. This is your life, and you live it how you want to live it. Nobody else has the right to tell you shit about how you live your fucking life at all. Doesn't matter. It's your life. So it's important as we begin to grow and you start changing and, you know, you start releasing resentments, you also have to learn how to find some type of tolerance, because none of us are the same. None of us have the same opinions, the same perspectives, any of it. It's all different for different people. So as you're going through this, you know, I have one perspective. You guys have another. So what I do is, okay, well, maybe if you looked at it from this perspective, you'll have a better understanding as to why they function the way they do or why they move the way they do. You know, and then you find the tolerance. You're just like, okay, I can deal with this and I can understand it. But you have to be able to find that. Hello, Dinesh. I'm surprised the comments actually showed up right now. They haven't been coming up. Now, this individual that you've been dealing with, I don't know. I'm going to say you guys haven't spoken in a while, because the way it looks right now, you're on their mind. Like, they think about you. Even though they might not talk to you or not, like you haven't reached out to each other, whatever it is that's going on, you're still heavy on their mind right now, okay? And even if you were right in the situation, and it's not important to be right, being right is okay, that's great, but you have to choose love above everything else. Choose to compromise. Don't sit there and be like, well, I'm right and that's what it is, because you're not. You're going to lose every time, because everybody likes to be right. So your ego, take that out of there. Not necessary. Just be like, you know what? I know I'm right. It is what it is. How can we fix this? How can we move past this? So everybody has to come to their own conclusions when they're dealing with shit in life. You know, I could sit here and talk and whatever, doesn't matter. My life experience is my experience. Yours is yours. You have to be like, okay, You know what? This person is an individual. They are on an individual journey, and you have to respect that journey, because we heal whenever we heal, they heal whenever they heal, and everything works out as it's meant to work out. But you guys will come back into union. So if that's something that you've been worried about and you weren't sure, and how they're saying time, like time came out so many times right now, it's insane. You have to allow, you have to stop putting so much work into this, especially if it's only one side. If you're the only one giving and giving and doing and fucking trying to make it work, stop. Stop, because you're draining yourself, you're giving too much. You have to allow that person to give you that energy back, okay? And time's the only way you're going to know what's going to happen, because while we see what's in front of our faces, we don't see what spirit is doing. We don't see the background. We don't see the bigger picture. We have to sit here and be like, okay, let me do what I'm supposed to be doing and focus on what it is that I want, so that way you can get it. Because if you start focusing on everything else and trying to control the outcome and everything else, like all of it, it's going to be too much, and it's going to turn to shit, because we don't control that. We have control over us. Everything else is up to the universe, and if it's meant to happen. So, you know, we have a little bit of control, not so much. Be okay with it. Allow time to take its course. You know, be like, okay, if you're, I don't want you to put your life on hold, because I will never tell anybody to put their life on hold. But if you're working towards a relationship, or there is someone you come in contact with that you're like, absolutely, like, this is the person I'm going to marry and this is it for my life, then it's your decision to say, I'm going to keep working on this, or I'm done with this and I'm not going to wait. Live your life. If it's meant to happen, believe me, maybe you guys will go and have different life lessons, and by the time you come back, you'll be ready. They'll be ready. So there is a lot of passion between you and this individual. Now, that's probably shit that's like, but you guys are like you're magnets. You're drawn to each other. So it doesn't matter how far apart you guys are. It doesn't matter if they're in another relationship or you're in another relationship. That connection's always there. That chemistry is what pulls you guys back together, because there's nothing else that compares to that between you two. So it's bound to come back, but you have to let people learn their lessons. If you don't allow these people to learn their lessons, then you're going to be getting the shitty end of the stick, because you're going to end up in a relationship that's fucked up, because they haven't healed their shit, or they haven't learned what they needed to learn to fully appreciate a good relationship. So don't be mad if they're with somebody else and they're living their best life in their mind. They're living their best life. Let them think that's their best life. You go ahead. You got it. Live your best life. I'm going to go live my best life. When it's meant for y'all, it'll happen. Y'all will come back. But you or the other person is emotionally withdrawn right now. And sometimes we withdraw just so that we can protect ourselves or give ourselves time to think and be clear. Charlika, thank you, but this is my real hair. It's just kind of puffy right now. So we withdraw, you know, and it's okay to withdraw as long as you're not slipping into a depression. So you have to be careful for that, because when you start getting depressed, it becomes more of a, I don't want to participate in life. So be aware of where you're at on the scale. And if you feel like you're to that point, please reach out. Talk to a therapist, friend, family, somebody that you trust, that you know will be like, put a fire under your ass and be like, yo, let's go. We're going outside today. We're going to do something. I mean, right now with coronavirus, who the fuck knows? But I don't know. I've been outside every fucking day. So, you know, if you're withdrawn or they're withdrawn, just understand, tides come and tides go. Feelings are meant to be felt and experienced. And then, okay, I felt that, it happened, cool, move forward. The weather, when it's shitty, it's raining, we're like, okay, fuck, it's raining. All you do is prepare. You're like, okay, it's raining. Let me get my umbrella, put on my rain jacket, rain boots, whatever. And you go on about your day. And then the next day it's sunny. So you're like, yes, I don't need all this shit. Your feelings are the same way. You feel them, you allow them, and you move past them. Hey, I'm sorry. I talk how I talk. I don't apologize for my cursing or anything, because this is me. So I'm not for everybody. It's okay. Now, when you guys start doing this and you start opening yourselves back up, and you start allowing yourself to be more emotionally available, prosperity is going to start. But there are choices that you need to make in order for these movements to take place. Now, if you're not, when you're making these decisions, some of them are based on marriage, other ones are based on your financial situations, and the others are just, your surroundings, your environment. So whatever it is that you're doing, you have to keep on going. Okay, so there is prosperity that is coming for you guys, but it really is more dependent on how you're making your decisions and what you're doing with those. Okay, now there is a book that I read, if you haven't watched my other readings, that's called The 5 Second Rule. When you start thinking about those, it's basically like, when you see a rocket ship blast off and you count, they're counting down from 10 to 1, but you start at 5. So you give yourself less time to talk yourself out of the impulses you get, so maybe it's like, hey, I want to call my ex, or do I want to take this risk, and fucking go do something I've never done before. Now, before you know it, we've done talked ourselves out of every fucking thing. So when you do this, you count down, and as soon as you get to 1, you move. Physically fucking move towards whatever it is that you're trying to go to. Do that, okay? And when you do this, it'll become more. Like, do it more and more, and it'll help you with the decision making. It'll help make everything easier. So whatever decision is, be wise, be smart about your choices, and make sure you're doing it for the highest good. Don't make a decision out of spite. Don't make the decision out of... when you're in a bad emotional place, you do things because you're hurt. So try not to do that, okay? Be smart about your decisions that you're making, because you want freedom. Now, if you're in a marriage, if this is a marriage, if it's been something that's been really long term, you want freedom, okay? You want to be who you are. You want to be free from everything in the fucking world, and that's what it is. And you have that right. You have the right to choose that freedom. You have the right to say, you know what, I can do what the fuck I want when I want, and there's nothing anyone's going to tell me that's going to stop that. So be okay with that. Allow that to happen. Now, there's a lot of stuff. Some of you need to do shadow work, or go through the dark night of the soul and those things. Some of you might not know what that is, but they have videos on YouTube that they helped me a lot when I was dealing with everything I was going through. But you have to integrate the good and the bad, the dark and the light. You have to be able to love all of you. Not just, oh, this is the pretty picture that I present to the world, and that's the only part that I love. You have to be able to love all of it. The bad that nobody knows about, all the fucked up shit, the shameful shit, the embarrassing shit, whatever it is, you have to own it, and you have to make it one, okay? It's like the yin and the yang. It's always a balance that needs to take place, because if you're too much in your dark side, you're not acknowledging the light. If you're too much in the light, you're not acknowledging your dark. So that means you're repressing a lot of shit that you should not be repressing, because you're going to blow the fuck up one day, and it might be on the wrong person. So it's important to understand we have both sides. Don't neglect either side. Okay, it's okay to have those feelings. It's okay to have the dark thought. All of this is okay. Even though they teach us, no, you got to be this, you got to be that, and you got to be all this fucking holy person. And no, okay, I don't do religion, because for me, my personal opinion is that's just the way that people, human, man, whatever, it's something they created to control us, to get us to stay in line. So be okay. If you, like me, I like cursing, that's me. I don't care who I'm talking to. That's how I talk. I'm not for everybody. You don't like it, it's not my problem. And people are not going to like you. People are always going to judge you. People are always going to have shit to say. And you need to understand that people that are still judgmental, they're still having shit that they need to heal. Because once you're out of judgment, you have no room to judge, because we've all fucked up. There's not a fucking... Show me a religious person that has not committed sin. Show me a religious person right now that's not a hypocrite, that doesn't go sit in church and praise God and be all holy and everything else under the sun, but then they're the first ones to shame someone or leave someone out back. Like, no. what you practice, whatever you do, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, be a good fucking human. Do to other people what you want done to you. Don't judge people because you don't want to be judged. It's that simple. Don't judge nobody. You won't be judged because you're not judgmental. But again, it comes with compassion. So if you are a person that doesn't have compassion or has a hard time resonating or understanding or even trying to communicate with someone else and saying, well, what happened? Why are you this way? It's hard for you to be with that person or forgive or release resentments because you don't understand why they hurt you the way they did. And a lot of this, again, it comes from childhood. It comes from past relationships. It comes from all of the crap that we keep lugging around on our backs because we don't know how to let it go. You have to release all of this, okay? You have to be gentle with yourself and forgive yourself. Whatever it is that you've done in your life, it doesn't matter. I personally do not care what you did. Don't care. Because like I said, I'm not perfect. I have no room to judge any of you. You have to learn to forgive yourself, because when you forgive yourself, then you'll be free from whatever it is. So if you did something that you haven't found a way to make peace, again, I don't know exactly what it is that y'all did, but release it, okay? You don't beat yourself up. There's enough people in the world that's going to shit on us, that's going to beat us up, that's going to make us feel worse than we already do about ourselves. You have to love you. You have to heal you so that way you can live your life the way it was intended for you to live. And as long as you're living it in this place of, I don't know if you're ashamed, whatever it is that you're feeling right now, you have to let it go and find the light in yourself, because when you do that, you'll be able to see the good in other people and look past everybody's flaws. You know, and a lot of Libras do that naturally. You know, like I look at people and I see the good in them. Even if there's an asshole on the exterior, in their hearts, I know they're a good person. So try to figure out, you know, try to have conversations and hear people's stories before you start judging them, and talk to yourself. Like really sit down with yourself and be like, well, what's good with me? Why do I feel this way? You know, maybe you feel like you're not pretty enough. Maybe you feel like you're not smart enough. But why? Because social media, because the fucking model bitches that be on TV showing you shit. Like, why do you feel that way? You should be you feel beautiful. That's it. Be beautiful. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of you. Okay? So don't let other people's opinions, don't let past experiences, don't let any of those things bring you down. So whoever this is, whatever energy this is, appreciate the life you have, because this is a person that's a very loving, mother-like energy. You know, and I'm seeing a rose right now, and those are very beautiful. But there's a lot of thorns on roses. And that's kind of how you are right now. Like, yeah, you're very beautiful, but you don't want anyone to get close to you because you know that you're just like, they're going to hurt me. And that's kind of like holding on so much that you're just like, you don't want to let people in. And you got to get out of that. Because if you don't get out of that space, you don't forgive yourself, you don't let those thorns fall away, how are you going to have a healthy relationship? How are you going to be able to offer love when you can't love yourself properly? Okay, because right now they're showing that there is stability that is coming in, whether it's financial, relationship, however it is, but we're going towards a relationship. It is going to happen, okay? There is going to be a new beginning in that. So if that's something you've been stressed out about it, don't be stressed out. Everything's going to work out, because they are showing me that there is a new beginning, and there is going to be collaboration, partnership. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be like relationship. It could be business, but there is going to be people that you're going to be working with and collaborating with to make things happen. Okay. And that's what's going to bring you your new beginning and your new abundance. So whatever it is that you've been working on, keep working on it, you know. And I always am an advocate for working on yourself. Take the time outs, take the vacations, do whatever you need, because this is our only life. And if you spend your life at work all the time, don't. Those people don't care. If you drop dead right now, they're going to find another body and they're going to put them in your position, and that's it. And you're slaving away and you're missing out on opportunities and recitals and everything else because you're like, I got to go to work. I got to go to work. I'm going to get fired. Fuck that job. Fuck that job. There's millions of fucking jobs. Better yet, do your own shit. Start your own business so you can be your own boss. Do that. But the energy you need to have with this situation, if it is relationship wise, you have to be the fool, or vice versa. The other person has to be the fool. However, but ultimately it's just taking the risk. It's taking that leap of faith, regardless of however it turns out. It might not be good. It could be the best thing that ever happened to you. But if you don't take that step, if you don't make that effort, how are you going to know? The best thing it's like you can have a million opportunities and you're sitting here like, well, I don't know. Go try all of them. Just say, okay, you know what? I'm going to try this. Then, no, that wasn't for me. I'm going to try this. No, that wasn't for me. And try it. Because if you don't try it, then you realize later on down the road, you have more regret than anything. And you're just like, damn, why didn't I do this when I had the chance? Why didn't I say this when I should have said it? Don't be afraid. Okay. Like, don't be afraid. Everybody at some point in life faces rejection. Everybody. Be comfortable with it. Just say, okay, this was not meant for me, and move forward. Don't let it hinder you. Don't feel bad about what happened. Damn it to hell. Oh, these children. Sorry, I need a second before this shit shuts down in my life. There we go. My bad. So don't be afraid of anybody rejecting you. Just look at it like, okay, this wasn't for me, and move forward. Because if you hold on to that, think about something you've done in your life at some point, or a relationship or a job or whatever it was that you were just like, no, I'm not qualified enough, or no, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. And then later on, you're like, fuck, I wish I would have let this person know how I feel. I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. Those are things that you need to act on. That impulse that's like, and then your mind's like, no, they're going to reject me. This is going to happen. That's what happens. Don't do that. You feel it, act on it as soon as you feel it, because if you allow your mind to take over, you're not going to do it. But really, I know all of us have regrets. That's why I live my life like, fuck it. When I'm 80 years old, I'm going to have some wild ass stories and I'll be like, well, I did all types of shit, and some are good, some are bad, but ultimately I'll be proud of my life. So you want that kind of life. You want the life where you're like, yo, I can't even believe this happened. Do that. Live that life. Take those actions. Take the steps, because right now they're showing like you are fucking exhausted. You are drained. You are overworked. You just are like, that's it. There's nothing else you can do, nothing else you can give. Like, that's where you're at right now. So if this is in a relationship, reassess, because relationships should not drain you this much. No relationship should ever drain you. It should be the opposite. It should be like, okay, you build off of each other, you encourage each other, you help each other achieve your goals, not beat each other down where you're just like, fuck, I don't want to do this. I don't have the energy. I want to fucking die. Don't do that. Okay. Because this seems like it's a very intense connection. Now, it could be good intense. It could be bad intense. However, it's resonating for you. But when you have these type of intense things, it's hard, especially if you guys are both very strong-willed and one person's willing to compromise, which is usually Libra, because, we're all about balance and shit. But with intensity, you have to find that. You have to find the balance. You have to find that individual. So make sure you're talking and really getting to know the people you're dealing with. And even if this situation is that intense that you're just like, I need out now, get out. Okay. You have to surrender completely to the universe. Have faith in what's going on in your life, because when I see, like, when you go to a circus and you see the acrobats and they're doing all this shit in the air, think about if they hesitated. Think about if they didn't let go when they were supposed to. You know how quickly the show falls apart. You know how easy it is for that person to end up injured. All of this comes from having trust in yourself and that you're making the right choice and releasing when it's necessary to release. So when you think about these, I give analogies because it's easier for people to identify with. But look at it in that sense, okay? Because when you let go, it means you're completely trusting that whatever bar, person, whatever it is on the other side is going to be there and it's going to work out. That's the type of faith that those people have. And that's what the type of faith that you need to have when you're moving through your own shit, okay? So you have to surrender to your healing. you know and I know some of you are like, what the fuck you mean surrender? I've been healing, I've been working on my shit, I've been doing this. I know, because I've been there. But when you're healing, it's like, okay, you might heal the relationship you're currently in, or you might heal your past relationship that you're out of. But have you healed your mommy issues? Have you healed your daddy issues? Have you healed your inner child? Have you loved that child the way you should have been loved as a child? Most of us weren't loved properly at all, especially if you grew up in poverty in a hood ass place. We didn't experience that. We experienced a lot of aggression, a lot of hostility, because that's what our parents knew. Our parents could only do as good as they know. And if they came from poverty and a fucked up background, then guess what? You have the same shit, and they're raising you with whatever little bit that they have. So you have to educate yourself. You have to learn different things. You have to start changing the programming in order to get better. So I'm sorry. I know it's hard, but again, we're back with the compassion. Compassion is very necessary, and it's not only for yourself. Be compassionate with yourself, be compassionate with other people, because right now I'm here. Tomorrow I could be fucking homeless and not have a dime to my name and be judged by everybody that walks by me. So you really need to really be able to identify with other people and put yourself in other people's places, okay? Because compassion is necessary, especially with the people you're dealing with in the relationships. If you're not able to show that person compassion, how do you expect to receive compassion? If you're not able to forgive, do you expect to receive forgiveness? Everything is a give and take. It's an exchange of energy, however you want to look at it. You have to be willing to balance it out. You have to be willing to say, you know what? I understand this is why you are, and you had a bad upbringing, and I get it, but how can we work past this? How can I help you? And when you start doing things like that, it helps, because like I said, when you don't have the tools, when you grow up in that type of environment, you don't have the tools, because most of the time it's shut the fuck up, go do what the fuck I told you to do, or I'm gonna whoop your ass. It's real life. So having the compassion and communication came out. So you guys really need to work on communication, whether it's you or the other individual. And it might be the other person that doesn't like verbalizing or doesn't know how to effectively communicate. And I say this because they might be hot-headed. They might be the person that spazzes the fuck out in like 2 seconds, and you're the more patient and calm one, like, hey, can we talk about this? And you're getting cursed out while you're saying, can we talk? So communication is really important, and trusting your intuition. Now, when I say trust your intuition, we all know our partners. We all know when we're pushing them too far, where they're like, if I say one more thing, they're going to punch me in my mouth. We all know where our limits are with the people we're dealing with. So instead of making the situation worse, or instead of like, I'm just going to piss them off, back off. Let the situation breathe. Allow it to rest, okay? Because the more you push, the worse that situation is going to get. And that's how we end up with domestic violence situations and everything else. Nobody wants that. So with this, if that person is someone you want to release and you want to get out of that relationship, that's cool. Do that. Be confident enough in your decision that that's what you want to do. But when you're moving on and you're single and you're like, well, now what? You have to be patient enough to be willing to pass up something that's like, yeah, okay, this person will do. But that they're not that person for you. It's like you have this dream person, let's say, a certain height, a certain voice. Like in your mind, you have this perfect person. But you meet someone else and they're like, they're almost there, but not completely. They're lacking major things. And I'm not saying like to the T, not all of that. But I'm saying enough of, you have your be like, they have to be nice. They have to be funny, loving, things like that. The important qualities. Be willing to pass up on people that are not that, because there's millions of people that are going to come. There's whatever. And you have to be willing to differentiate between the two and be like, you know what? I like you and I love you, but it's not the type of love that I'm looking for. It's not the type of situation. And you have to be okay with being single and letting things go. Date people and you'll be like, this isn't right for me. Let it go. Don't hold on to situations or relationships because you started the shit and now you're living together. Fuck that. Same way you got into it, get the fuck out of it and move on to something better, because we all have our person. There is a person that was made for all of us. You just have to be willing to work towards it and work on yourself so that person will come to you. Okay? And for those of you that you're holding on too much. You need to release it. You have to let it go. And clutter is something that's interesting. If you are in your house and you just have shit everywhere, I don't say it because it's like, oh, you're messy. No, it's a lot of internal shit. When internally you're not correct, you tend to just have shit and you collect shit and there's little piles of shit everywhere. You have to start decluttering. It helps with the flow of energy. It helps getting all of that shit out of you. So start doing that. If you don't need it, throw it out the fucking window, sell it, whatever. Get rid of it. Same thing with people. If they are not beneficial to your life, if they are not helping you grow, if they're not helping you achieve your goals, if they're not supportive of your goals, and all they do is bring you down or they make you feel bad, throw it out the window. Let it go. Be like, I love you, but I'm going to have to love you from over here because this is not working, and leave it at that, because everybody's not on the same time. We all change, we all grow, we all learn shit at different levels at different times. Let them learn what they need to learn. You learn what you need to learn. You do what makes you happy, because only you can make you happy. Another individual is not going to make you happy. And the sooner you realize that, the better off you're going to be. Because if you're confused right now, it's okay to be confused. It's okay to say, I don't know if I want to stay in this marriage. I don't know if I want to stay in this relationship, or I don't know if I want to start a new one. And honestly, it's okay. We're all confused. They're like, okay, how do I fix this? What is the best situation? Sit with yourself and don't focus on the problems. Don't focus on the bad. Focus on how you can heal it. Focus on how you can get to where it is that you truly want to be. And those are the solutions. That's what you want. You want solutions. You don't want problems. Problems we could come up with all fucking day as reasons why we're not going to do what we're supposed to do. Focus on the solution. Say, okay, you know what? I'm confused. Why am I confused? Okay, because I'm emotionally attached and I'm trying to detach and be over here. Whatever it is, in your heart what you're supposed to do. Trust yourself. And even if it scares the shit out of you, please move forward, because you're only keeping yourself trapped and you don't want to do that. And again, Spirit's asking you to be patient. So for those of you that have been like, yo, I've been patient, I've been waiting, I'm sick of being patient, I'm sick of fucking waiting, I feel your pain. But like I said, everything is not our time. It's in divine timing. So while we're sitting here and we're rushing and we're like, I'm tired of this, I want this over, I want this, I want the relationship, I want the marriage, I want the white picket fence and the house and the dog. Okay. But understand that if things don't fall into place the way they're meant to, then it's going to fall apart. And if somebody on the other end of this scenario is like dragging ass, or they're hesitant or restricting, then you have to wait for them to get out of that energy for them to come and be what you need. So don't rush it. The more you rush it, the more shit gets fucked up. Okay. And again, it's okay to be calm. Don't feel like being calm is a weakness or like you're a fucking punk or whatever. It's okay to be peaceful. It's okay to choose to walk away from drama, then entertain it. You don't have to entertain drama just because somebody's saying, hey, you know what? I want to fuck with you today. So we're going to no, walk away. Say, you know what? I'm not entertaining the bullshit. You can argue by yourself and I'm going to be over here. When you feel better, then you can talk to me. It's not a weakness, being able to maintain your calmness and your fucking mental when people are fucking with you is a lot. It's easy to lose your temper. It's easy to punch somebody in their fucking mouth. That's very easy. It's harder to walk away from the conflict, okay? Because your emotions get into it. You get involved. Walk away. Be calm. Find peace. Live in joy. Because when you start living in joy and you start bringing fun into everything, and I mean fun, like, little kids, they have fun. Doesn't matter. They're not focused on, well, yesterday, this all went bad. So that means today, this is all going to be bad. No, they wake up and they're like, hey, what are we going to do today? Let's do this. Live like that, because you'll live a happier life and you'll see how much easier things begin to flow and how your blessings start manifesting and coming into you. So be joyous with whatever you have going on, okay? Even if you don't have a lot to be joyous about, understand that the fact that we can hear, the fact that we can see, the fact that we have houses and fucking cars and food, be grateful. Those are things to be grateful for, because there's a lot of people that don't have that. You know, some people don't even have families. They're out here in the world by themselves. So all of these things are blessings, regardless if you look at it that way or not. They are blessings. Start seeing that, acknowledge that. Now, whoever you or this person, whatever y'all did, I don't know specifically because I'm not asking specifically. I'm just asking what needs to be healed. Whatever happened, if they knew that you felt how you feel about them, or if they would have expressed how they feel about you, they would have made a different decision, or you would have made a different decision into whatever this situation is. So however this was, one of you made a bad choice, but it was because the other one was shut down. They wasn't communicating. They weren't telling you what they should have been saying to you. And it was because they were afraid. They were afraid. That's why I say you got to talk. You got to have that French talk. You got to have that friendship, have the communication. But they're still moved by you. You know, they think you're a very beautiful person and they love you. Guy, girl, you know, beauty is on the inside. But if they hurt you or something happened that you're like, how could you do this to me? Don't take it personally. Don't internalize it, okay? Because it's their shit that they're dealing with, and people project a lot. And when people are projecting, they do it and they're hurting your feelings and they're making you feel bad, but really that's how they feel inside. That's not you. That's their shit. So don't hold on to whatever happened, okay? It happened and you're like, all right, cool, it happened. Let it go, okay? The resentment is not going to do you any favors. And if this is really your true person, the person you love and you want to spend your life with, you look at it in the grand scheme of things, like in 4 or 5 years from now, is any of this shit going to matter? Is it really that relevant? You know, whatever happened, is it going to matter in fucking 10 years? Are you going to remember it? Probably not. And even if you do, you're like, okay, you know, it was old news. I got over it. We moved past it. You have to start looking at things from a different perspective and trust that transformation begins when you start accepting things for what they are, and you start accepting the bad and the good inside of you and the bad and the good inside of other people. Because if you can't accept the bad in the person you're dealing with, then that's not a person you should be dealing with, you know, because nobody's perfect. Nobody's all light and love all the fucking time. No, it's not true. It's not factual. So when you're able to do that, that's why I tell people when I meet you, I don't want your fucking representative. I know. I want you as you are. If you're a fucking asshole, then please be an asshole. And I'll decide what we do from there. So trust yourself and trust that once you start accepting, everything's going to start falling into place, okay? And the situation is going to automatically transform, because now you're not only looking at this person as like you got them on a fucking this high horse. Like you're like, oh yes, this is the best person in the world and oh my God. And no, fuck that. They got their flaws. Everybody has their flaws. So accept the flaws. Be realistic. Come back down. We live up here. I know Libras live up here. Bring it back down and be appreciative and be like, you know what? This person has these qualities that are not so good, but I can work with them. We can work on it together. If you can't work on it together, walk the fuck away and don't waste your time and don't waste their time. We can't get our time back. Don't waste it. Make a decision. If it's a good one, cool. If it's a bad one, leave it. But they say you know what's right. You know the answer in your heart. So if this is truly that individual for you, you feel it in your heart. Whether or not you want to acknowledge it, whether or not they want to acknowledge it, it doesn't matter. But in their heart, they know. So if they haven't told you or they haven't expressed it to you or they're acting like a cold-hearted asshole, they love you. You know, they really love you. You know, and I feel bad because I can only imagine how shitty it is to know that someone loves you, but they're not going to ever tell you. And you're never going to have that. You know, it sucks. So you have to allow life to happen. Allow them to learn their lessons. And it might not be right now. It might not be as soon as you want it. But in time, when they go through their shit and they heal and they realize, like, you know what, I should have said this and that is my person, they're going to come back to you and you're going to be able to communicate this and it's going to work out. But if you could do anything in your life, what would it be? You know, we all have passions, we all have desires, and we shut everything down with our fear of failure. So if you move from your heart, there's less likelihood that you're going to shut yourself down. Okay, so just move from your heart when you're operating with people, whatever situation, even if it's work, move from your heart. Okay, because when you do this, that's when the relationship's going to start blossoming. That's when love's going to start opening up and coming into fruition. But you have to be open. That person has to be open, and their chakra is not open. They are resisting this very, very much. So I don't know how bad of a breakup or past situation they had, whatever it was that happened before, really fucked this person up now. So you have to find a way, if this is what you really want, to work through that with them and find a way to heal it. Because there seems like, it's like they're reaching for the light. They're reaching for the way out. They're trying to get out of the darkness, but it's like it has this fucking hold on them, like this grip on their lives that they don't know how to get out of it. And it's temptation, it could be drugs, whatever addictions, you know, whatever it is, whatever type of addictions, or, you know, they're struggling, the darkness they're struggling with. For some people, it's mental, anxiety, depression, PTSD, things like that. And it's hard. It's hard for people to get out of those things by themselves, especially when you're the reason they're depressed, or vice versa. You know, it's like I'm climbing out, but something keeps pulling you down. That's what they're fighting. So you have to be able to help them and bring them up. And the more you argue with somebody and the more you talk shit and you make them feel bad, the less likely it is going to be beneficial. It's not going to help the relationship. You have to be understanding and compassionate, because then you're going to be successful. Sorry, somebody needs to work on their throat chakra. But you're going to be triumphant, okay? So whatever this person is dealing with, if it's an addiction or if it's you dealing with addictions, understand it's going to come out. You're going to be able to work through this and get out of this. Some of you are healers. So some of you have really powerful healing gifts. Whether or not you are aware of this yet, or if you're on your spiritual, I'm not sure where you're at right now. But you have to have faith in yourself and your abilities. And don't compare yourself to other people. So if you are a Reiki healer, you're a tarot reader, rune reader, medium, whatever it is that you are, have faith in yourself, okay? Don't compare yourself to other people, because you're not other people, okay? You are who you are, and you have to stay true to your path. So like me, I do readings, but like I said, I focus on the healing aspect. Other people do readings, they want to focus on how the relationship's going to turn out. So it really just depends, you know, you focus on your own shit, and you stay true to you. Whether people like it or not, it doesn't matter. It's your shit. Be true to yourself and everything will always work out. But this hot-headedness, you or the other individual, however this is resonating, you have to control your anger and express it in a healthier manner. Now, if you can't express your anger at that moment in a healthier manner, please remove yourself, walk away. And I know it's hard sometimes, especially you're dealing with the crazy little Puerto Rican that's like, where the fuck you going? That ain't fucking happening. That I understand. And like, you ain't leaving the fucking house. I get it. Sometimes you have to let people walk out. You have to let that happen so that way shit don't blow up and get bad. You know, people just need, like, I need space to breathe so I don't kill your ass. So honor the emotions of anger, okay? I'm not saying it's bad to be angry, you know, because anger is better than depression. So if you're sad, go get angry. Go plot fucking revenge. Don't act on it, but plot it all day in your head and be like, you know what? It'll make you feel better. whatever it is to make you feel better. Don't, anger is there. Embrace the anger, because sometimes that's what gives us our passion, our motivation. That's like, hey, you know what? I'm fucking sick of this. I'm tired. And that lights a fire under people's asses. Sometimes people need that. But try to find healthy ways. If you find that you're getting angry and you don't know how to deal with it, write. If you write poetry, paint, do something to release it. That's healthy shit. Dancing's good. Work out the energy. Now, again, prosperity is on its way. For those of you that have been waiting for money, waiting for a new job, waiting for the love of your life, however your prosperity is manifesting for you, but it's coming. Okay, so make sure that you're doing everything in the right sense. Don't rush through life and be like, oh, well, you know what? I just said, fuck it. Life happened. No, life doesn't happen. You make life happen. Now, again, like I said, this person is dealing with like demons. I got a lot of black and white, like trying to balance this fucking energy. It's a lot of it. So whoever this individual is really struggling to bring the light and the dark within them into a balance, because it seems like the darkness is the part that's controlling them more. Like that part of them is what's ruling everything that's happening in their life. And they haven't been able to go back into that the heart space, that peace loving space. They haven't been able to go there. So they're wrestling with this, and there is a decision that needs to be made before they're able to get to this 10 of Pentacles. So if it's you or them, whatever it is, but it's like, you have to be in the game to win. If you're just sitting there in a corner like, oh man, I can't play, or oh man, I don't know if I'm going to do this. How you can't win shit. You're not going to win nothing because you're not fucking participating in life. You have to participate. Take the risk. Okay? Because right now there are a lot of decisions. Seem to have a lot of options, and hopefully it's not a lot of illusions that you have. And maybe that's things that need to get cleared away. But there's decisions that you guys have, and maybe you have options, maybe they have multiple options, and you're wrestling with that idea, whatever it is. Whatever this cycle is, it has to come to a completion. And in coming to a completion, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the relationship for the rest of your fucking life. That's not what I'm saying. Sometimes things need to come to a completion in order to start a new cycle, in order to have a rebirth, to start anew. So just because I say, okay, well, leave this, forgive this, leave that alone. Okay, that doesn't mean that if that's your person, you could start over, or you can just completely start over. We have free will. It's always going to be whatever you want, but be sure you're doing what's best for you. Does this make you truly happy? Or are you just doing it because you feel like you have obligations to the person, to your children, to family members, to friends, whatever the fuck it is? Why are you doing this? Why are you here? What are you fighting for? Ask yourself questions and answer them, and see where you're really at and why you want the things that you want. But it's important for you to go with the flow. Allow life to happen. Allow things to go the way they're meant to go, because if you are open to the universe and allowing, the abundance is coming in. Like they're showing right now, like the harvest that's what's coming in right now. So it's there, everything's coming into fruition. But some of you are very closed off. Like you're so protective and so guarded, and like you're holding on to whatever it is, if it's your heart, your fucking money, whatever it is that you're holding on to for dear life, release it. Okay, we can't take none of this shit with us. All we take with us when we die is our memories. So why not have the best memories you can have? Why not impact people's lives in the best way? Okay, so trust yourself and trust that you're making the right decisions. You have to allow, and I know it's hard when I'm like, yeah, just allow, just go with the flow. Fuck it, everything's going to work out. And you're like, no, I need to control. I need to know. I need to have this way. No, you don't. The practice being here. When I find myself thinking and being distracted, I'm like, nope, I'm here. What are you doing? What's happening? Try to refocus and come back to now, because the more you live in the now, the easier it becomes for you not to be so anxious or be so focused on the future, because you're enjoying every moment. And if you're not here, you're not enjoying every moment. You're worried, you're anxious, you're thinking about things that haven't happened, probably will never fucking happen, but in your mind, That's how it's gonna go down. So don't do that to yourself, okay? Work on the good things that you have coming into you. Now, I pulled some crystals for you guys that are to help you. I don't know if you guys use crystals or not, but for those of you that do, I like them because when I'm going through things, I'm able to select whichever one I need, and they help me. My energy, they help my vibration. This is Numite, achieving self-mastery, inner power, recovering your sense of self. So for those of you that need this and feel like this will be beneficial to you, that'll be good for you learning who you are. Now, the other one, 4 of them came out, is Smithsonite. Some of these I don't know how to pronounce, so don't judge me. Smithsonite, rebirth from chaos, evolution, stress relief, emotional boost, clearing of obstacles to grow. So it seems very fitting for those of you that are trying to renew a relationship or renew your life, renew your energy, let go of things, work on those things. Hi, Abraham. How are you? Now, the other one that came out is Obsidian. Now, when you have the black crystals, it's harder to distinguish, so make sure you have a note or something. Observing the self-reflection, know thyself. I feel like this came out for almost every sign that I've done so far. So this is really good, and it's important to know who you are and what you want and what you don't want, because we walk around here like, oh yeah, I want a relationship, I want this, I want that. Why do you want the relationship? What is it providing you? Only you can make you happy. So if you feel like you're not happy, the relationship is not going to make you happy. You have to fill that void. Now, blue chalcedony, I don't know. If you know how to pronounce this, awesome. I cannot. Slowing down, easy does it, restoring balance and serenity. So if this is for you or the other individual, if they're not into crystals, buy some for them and be like, you know what, here, use this, wear this for a little while and see if that helps them get through whatever it is they're going through. Okay, just work with it. And you have to heal your crown chakra, work on your crown. And there was a lot of purple, so also your third eye. Work on those 2 chakras. Mad videos on YouTube if you haven't come across any, but please work on them because it'll be beneficial to you and it'll help you get through everything that you're going through right now. But thank you guys. I love you. And I'm going to try to finish the other air signs today before I run out of whatever energy I have left. So I'll talk to you again in a minute.